Hi, this is Chapter 1. My name is Dave Serrata. This is Elementary and Middle School Mathematical Teaching Developmentally. Some of the learning outcomes for Chapter 1 summarize the factors that influence the effective teaching of mathematics, describe the importance of content standards, process standards, and standards of mathematical practice, explore the qualities needed to learn and grow as a professional teacher of math. In a changing world, factors to consider. International and national assessments provide strong evidence that mathematics teaching must change for our students are able to be competitive in a global market, for our students to be able to understand the complex issues they must confront as responsible citizens. In addition, people need to have skills that are long-lasting and will survive an ever-changing landscape of available jobs. We live in a digitized world and are surrounded by algorithms. We must teach students to be math lovers. Math lovers will always have career opportunities and choices. Our changing world influences what should be taught pre-K through 8th grade mathematical classrooms, as there is a relationship between early mathematical performances and success in middle school and high school. Pre-K through 8th grade students We must prepare pre-K through 8th grade students for jobs that possibly do not exist yet. Some of the changes towards shared standards as a globalization. 1980s response to back to basics. The main purpose was a response to a need for more problem solving as well as research of development psychologists who identified how students can best learn mathematics. In 1989, the NCTM published Curriculum and Evaluation Standards for School Mathematics. It was the first set of standards for a subject area in the curriculum and evaluation of such standards for mathematics. No other documents had such an enormous effort of school mathematics or any other area of a curriculum. Then in 1995, the NCTM publicized assessment standards for school mathematics. It added the collection to this, which focused on the importance of integrating assessments with instruction and indicated the key role that assessment plays in implementing change. In 2000, the NCTM published Principles and Standards for School Mathematics. This document influenced teacher practice. Ongoing debate about the mathematical curriculum continued, with many arguing that instead of hurrying through enormous topics every year, the curriculum needed to address content more deeply. In 2006, NCTM publicized Curriculum Focal Points. It was a little publication that had a big message. The mathematical taught at each grade level needed to be focused, provide depth, and explicitly shown connections. It gave clarity to teachers and students as to what should be taught at each grade. In 2010, the CCSSO presented Common Core State Standards, which are grade-level specific standards which incorporate ideas from curriculum focal points as well as international curriculum documents. A large majority of U.S. states adopted it, or other states were stimulated to create new standards of their own. In 2014, the NCTM published Principles to Action. Uses detailed classroom stories and students' work samples to illustrate the careful, reflective work required of effective teachers of mathematics through 6 guided principles: teaching and learning, access and equality, curriculum, tools for technology, assessment, and professionalism. Table 1.1 is on page 5 of your book. It's Standards for Mathematical Practice. It highlights kindergarten through 8th grade. It's telling you what needs to be taught. So in kindergarten, you have operational algebraic thinking, numeric and operational in base 10, measurement and data, and geometry. If you notice, geometry should be started in kindergarten and go all the way through 8th grade to have a foundational base once you get into high school. Also, this section of topics at a particular grade reflects not only rigorous mathematics, but also what is known from research and practice of learning progressions, which are sometimes referred to as learning trajectories. These progressions can help teachers know the sequence of what came before a particular concept, as well as what to expect next as students reach key points along a pathway to desired learning targets. Not all students are identical. They can inform the order of instructional experiences, which will support movement towards understanding. Applications of mathematical concept, meaning some students move a little faster than others, some students might grasp the topic slower than others. On page 6, you have the 5 process standards for principle and standards for school mathematics. Problem solving, which is start instruction with a problem to solve, as problem solving is the vehicle for developing mathematical ideas or reasoning and proof. Have students consider evidence of why something is true or why it's not true. Communication. Invite students to talk about, write about, describe, and explain their mathematical ideas as a way to examine their thinking. Let them dive into their problem to figure out if this is true or not true. Connections. Emphasize how mathematical ideas explicitly connect to students' prior mathematical knowledge. What did they know before that they just learned? How did it connect to something they learned in kindergarten that they're learning in 4th grade? And what in future learning? What do they think they're going to learn next from what they just learned? Representation. Provide problems where students can use mathematical models to clarify and represent a situation. Page 7, Standards for Mathematical Practice from CCSS-M. Processes and proficiencies that must be developed in every student. Regardless of the standards in your state, it is your job to support the parents and families of the students to understand the research behind the standards. So make sense of the problems and preserve in solving them. Explain what the problem is asking. Reason and abstractly and quantitatively. Explain the relationship between quantities in problem situations. Construct viable arguments and critique the reasoning of others. Understand and use assumptions, definitions, modeling them with mathematics. Apply mathematics to solve problems in everyday life. Use appropriate tools. Consider a variety of tools. Choose the most appropriate tools and use tools correctly. Manipulatives, ruler, technology to support the problem solving. Attend to precision. Communicate precisely using clear definitions and appropriate mathematical language. Use the correct words. Like when you're teaching multiplication, it's a factor times a factor, which gives you the product. Look for and make use of structure. Explain why and when properties of operations are true in a particular content. Look for and express regularity and repeated reasoning. Notice if patterns and calculations are repeated and use that information to solve other problems. A great website is called ucube.org. They have a spot in their website that you can incorporate into your classroom website, newsletter, back to school night, family events to share examples of concepts are being built in very purposeful ways, even if they differ from the ways that our parents or guardians were taught. 6 guided principles from principles to action. 1. Teaching and learning. Use meaningful instructional tasks that develop reasoning, sense-making, and problem-solving strategies. Access and equality. Provide instructional opportunities for students to demonstrate their competencies in different ways, creating tasks with easy entry points for students who struggle. It helps build their like towards math, become a towards math, to become a math lover. Give them opportunities to succeed. Also give them opportunities to fail, because you're still learning. Even if you get it wrong, you learn to do the problem wrong. So they need to learn to go back and redo it. Curriculum. Avoid thinking of your curriculum as a checklist or disconnect set of the daily lessons. Tools and technology. Think beyond computation when considering the integration of technology. Assessments. Consider the use of multiple assessments to capture the variety of student performances. It could be walking around saying, I like the way you did that mathematical problem. Don't praise the students, praise the process the students are using. It could be a test. It could be a quick exit ticket, or as you're walking around, as you do an example, you give the students time to do an example by themselves. You walk around using observation. And professionalism. Structure and time to reflect and analyze the instructional practices. Time to read these statements and think about them. Use meaningful instructional tasks. It could be what are you going to use for hands-on, not just worksheets every day. Make sure it's cultural relevant. Connect it to real life. Provide instructional opportunities for students to demonstrate their competency in different ways. Let them struggle. Let them make the mistakes, because they need to learn to overcome adversity. Avoid thinking of curriculum as a checklist or disconnect a set of daily lessons. Curriculum is just a textbook. Isn't just a textbook. It's all the items they use to help students better understand. It could be the videos, textbook, one-on-one help, the state DOE interim assessment practice like Smarter Balance, hands-on activities. When you're learning cones, you could have students make teepees, and they learn the volume of what could be inside, the surface area of the teepee, how long they make the sticks, what's the circumference at the base, what's the area of the base. Consider the use of multiple assessments, like I said before, exit tickets, observations, summative, informative assessments. While teaching mathematics, you need to learn and grow along with the students. A knowledge of mathematics, profound, flexible, and adaptive knowledge. Persistence, starve off frustration and demonstrate persistence. Positive attitude, change attitude towards mathematics. It may be hard, but you have to learn that sometimes something hard is fun to overcome. Readiness for change, unlearn and relearn mathematical concepts. Willingness to be a team player. All teachers use the same language. If you're a big school and you have 5 sections of math in each grade, make sure you teach using the same language, the symbols, modeling, and notation year after year after year. Don't be afraid to tell a teacher, hey, you're using the wrong vocabulary. This is all I have. I will also post this PowerPoint in the assignment. Also, there will be a link for the assignment.